Om Namaste Ganapate Tvameva Pratyaksham Tattvamasi Tvameva Kevalam Kartasi Tvameva Kevalam Dhartasi Tvameva Sakvilam Hartasi Tvameva Sarvam Khalvidam Brahmasi Tvam Sakshadatmas Nityam Udtam Vachmi Satyam Vachmi Avatmam Avavaktaram Avashrotaram Avadataram Avadhataram Avanuchanam Avashishyam Avapaschattat Avapurastat Avottaratan Avadakshinattat Avachurdvattat Avadharattat Sarvatomam Pahi Pahi Samantat Tom Vanmayas Tvanjinmayah Tamanandamayas Tom Brahmamaya Tom Sachidanandat Dvitiyosi Tom Pratyaksham Brahmasi Tom Jnanmayo Vidyanmayosi Sarvanjagadam Tatto Jayate Sarvanjagadam Tattashtishthati Sarvanjagadam Tvai Layameshyati Sarvanjagadam Tvai Pratyeti Tvam Bhumirapo Nado Nido Navaha Tvam Chatvari Vatpadani Tvam Gunatrayatitaha Tam Avasthatrayatitaha. And today's discussion, Om Dehatrayatitaha Tvam Kalatrayatitaha Tvam Mooladharasthitos Nityam Tvam Shaktitrayatmaka Tvam Yogino Dhyayanti Nityam Tvam Brahma Tvam Vishnu Tvam Rudras Tvam Indras Tvam Agnis Tvam Vayas Tvam Suryas Tvam Chatumas Tvam Brahma Bhurvasvaram Ganadim Purmucharya Varanadim Tadantaram Anuswarah Paratara Ardendra Sukam Tarina Ruddham Etatvam Anuswarupam Kakara Purvurupam Akaro Madhyamarupam Anuswaraschantyarupam Vinduruttarupam Nada Sandanam Samvita Sandhi Saisha Ganesha Vidya Ganakrushi Nijra Gayatri Chanda Ganapati Devata Om Gam Ganapate Namaha Ekadantaya Vidmahe Vakrutundaya Dhimahi Tanno Danti Prachodayat. This is what we discussed today. And only one thing is left afterwards. Ekadantam Chaturastam Pasimam Kushadaramam Radanchodaram Vastair Vipranam Mushakadvajam Raktam Lambodaram Shurpakanakam Raktavasasam Raktagandhan Diliptangam Raktapushpaihi Supujidam Bhaktan Kalpinam Devam Jagatkanam Achyutam Avirbhutancha Srishyadav Prakrute Purushatparam Evam Dhyayatyo Nityam Sayogi Yoginamvaraha Namo Vratapate Namo Ganapate Namo Paramatapate Namaste Astalambodaraya Ekadantaya Vignanashine Shivasataya Shri Vadadamurtaye Namaha. And then everything else is Parashruti. This is one of the favorite Upanishads of mine, because it really includes so many wonderful Upanishads in just one sentence at a time. And today's discussion starts Tvam Dehatrayatita. You transcend all three bodies. I have only one request for you. Concentrate, because it's a very tough subject, but nothing is difficult, trust me. The infinite Atman Brahman is as though imprisoned or located in the individual, which is essentially a combination of three bodies: gross body, subtle body, and causal body. Listen to it carefully. There is nothing real or physical about these three bodies. It is not that the Atman is imprisoned in the physical body. Instead, it is the physical of gross body that derives its existence and life energy Chaitanya or sentience from Atman. The individual, being ignorant of his true nature, commits the mistake of taking the physical body as oneself. This mistake binds one to a physical body. Now this physical body has its existence in mind. Physical body exists with the notion of my body or me only when one thinks of it. This wrong or ignorant thought, repeated endlessly, is the subtle body imprisoning the infinite. The body belongs to the person who is nothing but the thread of habits and memories. He has a bundle of fears and cravings, likes and dislikes, and is entirely a creature of mind. Person is not a real subject, but is the one who masquerades as the subject. Subject is only one, Brahman. This person is never separate from the whole Brahman. In fact, all three, namely the sense of being a limited person, the physical body, and the world arise from and resolve into the awareness simultaneously. This is a tough concept, but this is something that you really have to try to grasp. And now this person, the subtle body, and the physical body are absent during sleep. This physical body and the subtle body, which confuses that, they arise from the seed of ignorance, which is one of the characteristics of sleep. Sleep is characterized, deep sleep phase, by the common experience when you have slept it well. I slept very well without knowing anything, and now I feel refreshed and energized. If you're asleep, how the heck did you know that you had a good night's sleep? But there's somebody else who was the witness who was watching. As the deep sleep comes to an end, the mind comes into existence as a motion in the infinite ocean of awareness. You see, when I get up in the morning, behind our house the lake is absolutely calm like a mirror. But then a gentle breeze comes up that makes you wake up. And at that time what happens is the thought process starts. As a motion in the infinite ocean of awareness, a sense of separate existence is projected by habit, and this life of samsara starts once again. This habit of taking oneself to be separate from the whole is the sprout of ignorance. It is called the causal body, since it is the origin of the two other bodies when one wakes up. As the person sleeps, the physical body resolves in the subtle body, which in turn resolves into causal body, the fundamental sense or ignorance of separate existence, which tends to become dormant during this deep sleep phase. So you got to remember how the connections go one by one. So the dreams come during the subtle phase, and then your deep sleep comes when the causal body is dormant. All three bodies are unreal, since they do not stand the test of time. The Satyam has to be Trikala Badit. In each state, the other two bodies do not exist. In physical body, as one is when he is awake, the subtle and causal bodies are absent. During the deep state, only the subtle body is present, while the physical and causal bodies are missing. And during deep sleep state, both the physical and subtle bodies are absent, and the causal body, the cause of ignorance, becomes dormant, and the individual becomes an integral part of the common ocean of awareness, very quiet. That is exactly when you're connected, replugged with Brahman, you feel refreshed and energized after a good night's sleep. Here, as we've been studying for the last 4 or 5 sessions, Ganapati is equated to Brahman, the ocean of awareness, and hence is well beyond three bodies. As the statement says, you transcend all three bodies. Tum deha trayatita. So that's the way to understand it carefully. And I think last time we talked about the sleep part of it. This is deha trayatita. This is the connection between one after another. Now then I'll explain to you why certain mantras are powerful and explain to you my personal bias as to why I do this prayers for this particular Ganesha. The next one is Tvam Kalatrayatita. You transcend all three divisions of time. Again, listen very carefully. The concept of time in terms of the past, present and the future is the property of mind and does not exist outside that person. Thought is invariably associated with time and is against the time-space framework that every thought arises. Okay. Time is the mental awareness of the sequence of events based upon our memory. Both the memory of the past and the imagination of the future are events that occur in the present. Both the memory of the past and the imagination of the future are the events that occur in the present, and therefore the past and the future are now. The division of time is purely a categorization by the mind. When the division of time is negated, time itself gets negated. The present or now is itself not different than I am that awareness. I am. I am that awareness, I am that consciousness. Present is not today. Present is not today because part of the today is gone and part of the today is yet to come. Present is this very moment and will disappear by the time I complete this sentence. If we carefully analyze the present moment within yourself, we will recognize that it is not different from the conscious present I am, awareness, which itself is a world full of awareness, absolute, infinite existence. So you have to look at it very, very carefully. The moment you examine the present moment, it resolves in you because it's no more. Time being the property of the mind, an important component of the thought, there is no time in the silence of the mind between the thoughts. So when we were discussing japa a few sessions behind, that silence that comes is that you are in the awareness. So when it's called with three different phases of sleep we talked about, the Turiya stage is that silence, that's the awareness. So if you see, Ganesha has been born through various ages with different names, and is always born on the fourth, because that represents his status of Turiya, that ultimate silence, ultimate awareness. That's why you see, the dates vary depending on what month it is. It's always Shuddha Chaturthi. That's why there is no apprehension of time in sleep. You're in deep sleep, you don't know. In meditation, when you go into deep dhyana and samadhi, there is no awareness of the passage of time if your thoughts dissolve in Atman or awareness. During the joyful state of laughter, the mind gets resolved in its source and hence there is no time in pure joy. We go to our friend's place, have a good time, and then say, I didn't know when the time went away. Because that's exactly what happens. The time disappears. The mind, along with the categories of time and space, arise in Atman and also resolve in Atman. Thus, Atman alone is the substratum and the reality of the mind in all its categories. Atman being as same as Brahman and Ganapati being equal to Ganapati in this Upanishad, he too transcends all the divisions of time, so-called past, present and future, Tvam Kala Trayatita. Then, Tvam Mooladhara Stitosu Nityam. You always abide in the base of the spine. You are located at the fundamental chakra in the human body. This one is known as Mooladhara Chakra, at the bottom of the tip of the coccyx. The other chakras are, as you know, in the lower abdomen, Otiput, called Swadhisthana, Manipur, Nabi, Umbilicus, Anahata Hridaya, heart, Vishuddha Kantha, throat, Ajna, between the eyebrows, and Sahasrara Talu, right on the top of the head, are the other key centers in the body. There are multiple of them, trust me. Marmasthana, a lot of them. But then if you concentrate, these are the most important ones. We must look at our human body as a powerhouse where the mysterious power of Lord reflects in merely, what is this? Nothing. As a mouse of bones, as what Shankaracharya describes in the Bhajagovindam. Assemblage of flesh, bones and blood. It has been described in Gita 13 verse, Kshetra, the field of consciousness, Kshetra, from which all kinds of power arise. However, there is a concentrated presence in specific parts of the body. We talked about Kshetra. It is a concentrated presence in specific parts of the body, known as the chakras, as I just mentioned to you. Remember, this Lord is all-pervading and everything, and every place exists in Lord alone. However, for the purpose of fixing the vagrant mind to an anchor, the devotee is free to visualize Lord in any subject, any aspect of the creation, and hence the various forms, including the animals, birds, trees, rivers, mountains, and gross elements like earth, water, air, gods, variety names, sun, moon, etc. For the same all-pervading Supreme Lord, different in name. You go to the river, that is sacred. You go to mountains, they are sacred. The reason that this all-pervading Lord is visualized in the form of one's favorite form, we call it Sanskrit Ishtadevata, is simply for the purpose of controlling the fickleness of the mind, which tends to get distracted very easily and jumps from one thought to another without any rhyme or reason. I discussed that in great depth when I was discussing about jump. Many scholars have described that as a monkey mind, jumping from one tree to another without any rhyme or reason. That's monkey mind. And in order to anchor that monkey mind to one fixed aim, then you are asked to focus on your Ishtadeva. So that's what we discussed so far. Tam Mooladhara Stitosni. The next statement is Tvam Shakti Trayatmaka. You alone are manifest as a threefold power. Shakti, Traya, three, Atmaka. We should look at this universe not as a collection of different objects, but as a marvelous manifestation of the infinite power of Lord. The matter is condensed energy, and consciousness is a subtle kind of power. Now remember, if you look at the universe, and many of you are scientists in the audience, energy and mass, you can see one gets transformed to one another. So the matter is the condensed energy, black mass you get, and then the energy comes in different form. And consciousness is a subtle kind of a power. The Lord creates this universe out of his power called Maya Shakti. This phenomenon, as universe, can be divided into three major sub-phenomena known as creation, sustenance, and annihilation. Accordingly, we visualize God as the source of the threefold power of creation, sustenance, and annihilation. In Bhagavatam it said, Eka tvameva bhagavan nidam atma shaktya maya choyoru guraya mahadatta shesham shusht vanvashvishya purushtad sat guneshu mameva darushu vibhava suvat vibhasi. Everybody knows it. I'll translate for make it easy for everybody to translate English. Bhagavad says, O Lord, you are the one infinite Brahman that created this universe, universal intelligence, to the physical universe with your threefold sattva, rajas and tamas power, maya shakti. Having created this universe, you entered it. And who are you? Absolute existence and awareness. And you alone shine in the names and forms of the universe like embers from the soul fire with a number of burning pieces of wood. Sullinga. You see, that's again Deha Buddhya. Basically, Deha Buddhya to Dasoham, Jiva Buddhya to Daushaka. At the Jiva level, it's just a Sullinga, small little fragment that comes up, big bonfire. Atma Buddhya to Tvam Eva Aham. Tvam Eva Aham. So that's exactly the description we're talking about. So this is basically that Spulling that we're talking about is Adibhuta. That is the Spullinga that is present in the Adibhuta. The same infinite power of God is manifest in the human being as the threefold power of Adhyatma, as the power of desiring, Ichha Shakti, power of knowing, Jnana Shakti, and power of acting, living, Kriya Shakti. All life forms are alike, trust me, all life forms. However, the first two powers, Ichha Shakti and Jnana Shakti, seem to be particularly prominent in the human beings. Whereas in the lower forms, such as flora and fauna, the power of life or living or Kriya Shakti is far more important than the other two. I don't believe they don't have it, but to that extent it is manifest in human being, it is not there. So basically, survival of the self and survival of the species. Only the enlightened human being correctly recognizes that these three powers are directly from the Lord and not in reality ours. The doership and the enjoyership. Doership is kartrutva. Enjoyership is bhoktrutva. Naturally resolve as soon as we regain our memory. Then are you learning, not learning? You're regaining your memory. Smritir labdha, tat prasada. Regain your memory about your true identity. This threefold power of Lord is also called as Lalita, my elder sister's name, and is neatly described in Lalita Sahasranam, 181st word. Ichha Shakti, Jnana Shakti, Kriya Shakti, Swarupini. The threefold power of the universal mother. With reference the power of desiring, we must remember that as long as such power is exercised, accordance with the dharma, law of nature, it is in perfect harmony with the whole and you are at peace. If instead we are not in harmony or in conflict, it becomes a cause of suffering here and hereafter. Shri Krishna says in the 7th chapter, 11th verse, Dharma virdo bhuteshu kamosmi bharatarsha. Don't get confused. Dharma virdo means not against dharma. Dharma aviruddho. This visarga is there. Dharma aviruddho aham kama asmi bharatarsha. Hey Arjuna, in living beings, I am the desire, kama asmi, which is not against the natural order. Dharma viruddha. When we talk about dharma, or Hindu dharma, people get confused and fight about it, argue about it. It's not a religion. It's the order of the nature. So when we talk more about Hinduism, we're talking about simple laws of nature. The laws of nature are law of existence. You cannot deny that. We're talking about energy remains constant. Every action is an appropriate reaction. These are laws of nature. You can give any name. You don't have to talk about big fancy things. And most of the scientists always come and hit the wall because they want everything to be seen as a scientific basis. Because they want to objectify everything, not realizing that only subject exists in the world is one, and that is Brahman. And only when you realize your equity or equivalence to Atman, then everything automatically resolves. So this is so far we connected. Tvam Shakti Trayatma. Then he continues, Tvai yogino dhyayanti nityam. Tvai yogino dhyayanti nityam. Yogis contemplate upon you all the time. Tvam, to you. Yogino means yogi, yogina, multiple. Dhyayanti means always are meditating, contemplating. Nityam, constant. You yogis are always contemplating upon you all the time. What is yogi? Yogi is to connect, yujya. Yunjate iti yogi, one who connects. Again, Rinigare is bringing back, religion is put that way, but not in the form that we talk in Sanskrit. Yogi is the one who is seeking communion with the Lord all the time. Typically, human beings live in the world consciousness. However, wise ones should learn to live in the divine consciousness. Not that you are in a different part of the world. You have to respect the creation too, because that's also divine. But when you see the creation around, you have to recognize every moment, every breath you take, that that creation is nothing but divinity. And you have to treat it in the same way, just as you treat yourself as the Brahman. Example, we live on a lake, luckily. The lotus, we have a nice lily pad behind our house there. Even while remaining all the time in the murky water, neither becomes wet, nor gets dirty. Worldly life, which is inevitable for including for the renunciate. But still, a person who conducts his worldly affairs with an attitude of generous non-attachment. Not that you don't have feelings, not that you don't know it's comfortable, it's not comfortable, but you're not attached one way or the other. Attitude of generous non-attachment and takes precautions against emotional dependence on the objects of pleasure and relationships in the world is called yogi. Not that you don't have relationship, not that you don't enjoy a few things, but it's not something that you're attached to such an extent you gotta have it. That becomes a addiction. So you have to understand, differentiate between where you draw the line. That's what I say, I guess. It is not that he or she does not recognize or appreciate these things all around, but is not dependent on these since he or she is always content in the divine consciousness because recognize everything around is nothing but divinity. All the water drops, talking about the lake, worldly things, roll off the lotus leaf, Kamalapatra Dala. And what only remains is the beautiful lotus flower, totally untainted from the dirt and any impurities, despite arising from the very muck underneath or the water splashing all around and representing the enlightened individual. So if you go outside, underneath the Mahagopuram in our temple, we got two beautiful brass doors, and on which there are 64 lotuses. So to me that's a very important symbol we want to demonstrate that it doesn't matter where you start. You can always bring out the inner divinity within you by proper training, guidance, and your hard work. So that's the basic important to remember. So far, last thing that we learned, Yogino, dhyayanti nityam. You're always concentrating on divine consciousness as we should do. And then of course he talks about, who are you? That means, Tvam Brahma, you're Brahma. Tvam Vishnu, you're Vishnu. Tvam Rudras, you're Rudra or Shiva. Tvam Indras, you're Indra. Agni, you are fire. Agni. Vayu, you are Vayu. Surya, you are Surya. You are Chandra, moon. You are Brahma, Bhur, Bhuvaswara. You are Brahman and Bhur, Bhuvaswara, earth, space, heavens and beyond. And Swaram means Om. So you are Brahma, you are Vishnu, you are Rudra, you are Indra, you are Agni, you are Vayu, you are Surya, you are Chandra, you are Brahman, you are earth, you are space, heavens, beyond, and most importantly the Om. So Brahman can be seen in various forms and different names or labels may be attached depending upon the activities performed. The creative cosmic power is Brahma, the sustaining cosmic power is Vishnu, and the annihilating cosmic power is Rudra. Like an all-round cricketer, opening batsman, opening both, doesn't matter. But does various functions, but at the same time, he is still the same entity. In addition, major gods described in Vedas and overlords of all the 8 quarters also represent limbs of the same cosmic order, such as Indra, Vayu, Agni, sun, moon, earth, space, heavens, beyond, and of course primordial sounds of creation, Om. As a matter of fact, I mentioned to you, typically we say Om Bhur Bhuswa, but a couple of other places, including Mahanarayana Upanishad, it goes to 7. Om Bhu, Om Bhuva, Om Swaha, Om Maha, Om Janaha, Om Tapaha, Om Satyam. Some people take it even further. You can take it to Surya, Vishnu, Shiva and Brahma. That's how the Kuva. But again that comes to Shankaracharya's Panchayatana. In that is Shakti, Vishnu, Shiva, Surya and Ganapati. So these are 5 things basically that Shankaracharya gave. So even though all these names are different and based upon the nature, qualities of activities carried out, in reality the cosmic power is only one and same, known Brahman, known in this particular Upanishad as Ganapati. Such diversity is not only accepted but instead encouraged or welcomed, as it only helps to glorify the only reality, the Lord's ultimate cosmic power. If you go to the 10th chapter of Gita, Vibhuti Yoga, I'm this and that, I mean this and that. The thing is not, God is not different, but the divinity manifested in individuals performing different activities is nothing but that Brahman. Next statement is, Ganadim Puram Mucharya, Vanadim Tadanandaram, Anuswara Paratara, Ardhendulasitam, Tarena Ruddham, Etatto Manuswarup. Translated in English. The first syllable of the word Gana is G. Has he pronounced first? Ganadim Puramucharya. You have to pronounce G first. Followed by the first of the vowels, Vanadim Tadanandaram. The vowel comes afterwards. That has been followed by Anuswara. Anuswara Paratara. Word embellished by the crescent of the moon, Anuswara Ardhendulasitam, that is making more nasal sound, correct. All this has to be made auspicious or more powerful than pronouncing the Om in the beginning. Tarena Vruddham, Etatto Manuswarup. So you have to have Om in the beginning. So this is your description, Ganapati, in the form of mantra. Now, if the teacher gives a detailed description of the Ganapati mantra, Om Gam. This is one syllable mantra, Gam. The half crescent moon on the top reminds the devotee that the sound is nasal, Gam. The second Om is called Ta for 2 reasons. Firstly, because it is prolonged. Om Gam. So, prolonged 4 times longer than time required to pronounce simple of G. So, Om as prolonged 4 times as much. Secondarily, it helps the seeker to resolve his little self in the Atman is the source of all sounds. So it reminds him constantly He's just a little spilling, a little minute part. But you got to remember what the whole Om really is. And he's the source of all sounds, activities and knowledge, thereby liberating him from the life of becoming. My teacher, Swami Dayananda, always used to write about all of us are struggling and finding unhappiness because we want to become something else. I want to be a doctor. I want to be an engineer. I want to be a scientist. I want to be rich. I want to be thin. I want to be a model. I'm trying to be something different than what I am, not knowing who you really are. You see, once you know you are Atmanya Atmanatosha, you're at peace with yourself, knowing fully who you are. There is no longer a life of becoming. So that's what he's talking about. When you are saying in a prolonged way, encouraging Om, Gam, you are comfortable underneath your skin. You know who you are. It doesn't matter. Tulyaninda, Stutirmam, it doesn't matter. People criticize you or praise you. It doesn't attach because basically both the criticism and praise belongs to Lord anyway. So that's the way we accept it. That is how the divine bodies are described in scriptures according to Srimad Bhagavatam again. The classic description is iti murtya vidhanena mantra murti murtikam yajate yanti purutam sa samyak darshana. Okay, I'll break it in the prose because it's so easy. Iti murti abhidhanena mantram murtim. Mantram murti. We're creating mantra as if an image. Amurtikam yajna purusham yajati. That means yajna purusham is Brahman. But amurtikam, that means he is creating through the mantra a nirguna Brahman, but is no longer a murti, but amurtikam yajati. Sahapuman, that gentleman, samyak darshana, he knows exactly what is correct. So you have to, the fun part about this mantra, I'll explain to you at the end why it is important. 3 different mantras are in this Upanishad. Next one is Kakara Purupam, Makaro Madhyamurupam, Manuswara Chantirupam, Bindurutturupam, Nadasundanam, Samvitasandi. The first syllable is G, Kakara Purupam. The middle syllable is A. The last syllable is M. The last syllable progresses into a nasal sound Bindu and is further pulled into a lengthy sound called Nada, which unites all 3 parts into the mantra. All these 3 individual sounds are pronounced sequentially in unison when the mantra is Om Gam, Om Gam. It is easier to concentrate our mind on a given sound rather than the form. Besides, the nada serves as the most effective way to put an end of endless distracting thoughts going in all through different directions with flimsy connections. I told you last time a BMW car story. Anybody remembers that? Again, it was from the Ananda story. We were in Sellersburg, Pennsylvania, and outside was a car going, and he's pretty good in cars too, so he knew there was a BMW. He said, you saw the BMW car, you see? Then he suddenly remembered Germany, and he suddenly remembered Second World War. And Second World War took him to Pearl Harbor, and Pearl Harbor took him to the beach. Beach went to the sun, that became the sunburn, and became a dynamo. So he started with BMW car, that was the exact sequence in which he described. The BMW story, there are flimsy connections. The reason why you do mantra japa is because with BMW car story, you don't know where the next car is going to come out. I mean, from the Second World War, it would have been the Auschwitz stuff where the things were burned. But where it goes, there's a flimsy connection. But in japa, when you are doing the japa, you know exactly what the next is coming. So you're able to keep very quiet between the 2 japas that you do. And that silence when you're connecting with the Brahman. That's why it's important to do japa. And then, finally, Saisha Ganesha Vidya, Ganakrishi, Nichut Gayatri Chanda, Ganapati Devata, Om Gam Ganapate. This is the true understanding for mental worship of God Ganapati. The Upasana, right? The seer of the mantra is sage Ganaka, Ganakrishi, also known as Atharvana or Ankila, as I mentioned to you. The meter is Nichut Gayatri, the presiding deity is Ganapati Devata, Om Gam, my prostration to Lord Ganapati. Now, Chandogya Upanishad describes, or prescribes rather, doctor, devotee should reflect on the seer who realized the mantra, also on the presiding deities who utilize in that mantra, and he may also reflect on the meter in which the mantra is said. Now here, Ganesha Vidya is, Vidya refers, Arun, to the knowledge of the self or Atma. Each of these mantras is the method described on all these 8 sages which allowed them personally to realize their own identity or the knowledge and wisdom about their true nature. I didn't say learn, realize. Remember, an exact identity with Brahman. So when the enlightenment comes, but the individual ego resolves into awareness, which has been the true identity for the eternity. Ahankara vinashati. The ego dissolves. So because how it comes? Physical body shariram, their existence is in the indriyas. Indriya taught by mana buddhi chitta, ultimately going to ahankara. And ahankara comes directly from the maya shakti coming from that and connected with satya, what we call sattvic, rajasic and tamasic. Again, Atman connecting back to the Brahman. This knowledge is never created or gained, but simply rediscovered. This is a single syllable mantra, Ekakshari mantra. It also gives us 8 syllable mantra, Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha. The other mantra is Om Namah Shivaya, Panchakshari. 12th syllable is Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. And if Vatsal is not there, I had to write one got in Gayatri Mantra with the meaning. Gayatri Mantra, Om Bhurvasva Tatsa Vitruvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimai Dhiyo Yona Prachodayata. Other important Shankara is Om Trambakam Yamahe Sugandhim Pushtivardhanam Urvarika Vandanat Mrityor Mukshiyama Amrutat. So we finally continue with last verse. Ekadantaye Vidmahe Vakratundaya Dhimahi Tanno Dante Prachodayat. May we know Lord Ganapati and contemplate upon him. Ekadantaye Vidmahi, we know Lord Ganapati. Vakratundaya Dhimahi, contemplate upon him. May Lord Ganapati with one tusk and curved trunk, Vakratunda, during that contemplation, inspire and direct us in the right direction. Very superficial many cases, but I'll give you deeper and more. Here, Eka represents really entire creation. Maya created entire creation. Danta is tusk, so that is a tooth, one which can bite, can tear or overcome. Danti, who controls, who sees through the ideologies, who overcomes. Vakra means via evil thoughts or tendencies, most importantly delusion, misunderstanding, ignorance. Tundi, who beats up and destroys. One who allays, takes away the delusion. Tat Danti, no prachodaya. May that powerful Lord, Tat Danti, Ishwar, stimulate our intellect and direct us in the right direction. You can finally it's translated as, may we have the intellectual stimulation and inspiration from the cosmic consciousness, Brahman, Lord Ganapati, who destroys all evil thoughts and tendencies and overcomes, controls and sees through the delusion called as Maya. Now, typically when we come to the temple and do the puja, you're bargaining with the god. Give me this, give me promotion, give me wife, give me kid, children, give me money, give me success, give me power. Here devotee is asking, prachodayat, may you stimulate. Does not express a desire before Lord. He recognizes every thought has its origin in Atman only, which is not different from Lord. Also thoughts just take place. They follow the law of nature. They are not controlled by self or small self. In fact, the small self itself is no more than a simple thought. In that recognition, he prays to the Lord to inspire his thoughts with devotion to him and bestow upon him the knowledge of the self. Basically is, most importantly you're asking for yourself, is bring my memory back. Juggle it, get me out of it. Mudgal is Upanishad. Maudgal is Puran. Based on that, the commentary. Describe this form of Ganapati, Saguna Brahman, with attributes. Eka Shabdatmika Maya, Tasya Sarvam Samudbhavam, Dantas Tatta Saratatra, Maya Chalaka Uchyate, Tayo Yogi, Ganesho, Yam Ekadanta Prakirtita. What he says is, the word Eka stands for the Maya Shakti, from which this entire universe has originated. The word Danta means existence absolute, that is Brahman, which has this Maya Shakti in its absolute control. He is able to control it, that's why it becomes Danti. Ganesha, what a powerful combination. A combination of the above two principles. In other words, a reflection of the existence absolute in the power of mind. So he is created by creative Shakti and the absolute Brahman, and that is the Ganapati. And when he is asking for stimulation of my mind, he is not asking just me. No, that means to all of us. So when they are studying together, asking for that stimulation is to all of us. Finally, we have seen the above presentation in 3 mantras here. The one is 1 syllable Om Gam, the 8 syllable Om Ganapate, Om Gam Ganapate Namaha, and Gayatri. In the meditation, based on chanting of this mantra, that's what I do. The personal devata, Ishta devata. The seeker tries to concentrate either on the sounds of mantra itself or on the form of personal God, or both. We'll describe the Sagun Roop next time. It is customary to describe the form of Lord being worshipped in vivid detail. This helps the devotee to fix the ever-vagrant mind on the general description of the Lord. When you're doing the 8-stage meditation, you go through the yama, niyama, pranayama and all stuff, then dharana, concentrating. A preliminary state to dhyana. And at that time you are getting to ultimately the samadhi. So next time what we will discuss, Ekadantam Chaturastam Pashmam Muksharanam Radancharanam Astair Vibranam Mushikam Bhajam Raktam Lambodaram Shupakadakam Vatvasam Raktakantana Devtanam Rakta Vishpais Pujanam, and then Bhaktanam. So that's what we will discuss next time. I'm going to start here.
Question and clarification.
Sure.
One was, we talked about the stages of sleep. Stages of sleep, and of course we have the deep sleep state. The question is, what makes the person wake up from the deep sleep state? That's one. Might very well be ignorance or something, but I want to hear your thoughts on that. And the second one was, you mentioned about the 3 states of the body, but I was under the impression that between the causal body, the subtle body, and the gross body has got all 3, The subtle body has got two, and the causal body is one. Okay, that's what I want you to elaborate.
Your understanding about the 3, 2, 1 is clear.
Okay.
At the same time, you have to understand in what sequence it is. Gross body keeps the subtle and causal body inside, but the manifest is only physical body. When you are asleep in the subtle body, physical body is no more, and even the causal body is missing. Okay? When you are in sleep, causal body or cause of ignorance is there, and you are not aware of the subtle or the physical body. So even though you talk about 3, 2, 1,
sure,
you remember that book is closed.
Sure.
You see what I mean?
Sure.
Even though the causal body does not have the other two, not that they don't exist, but at that time they are not functioning. So that's the reason why they are false, because the other two don't exist when one is manifest.
True.
So you have to understand all these 3 phases. But basically, the physical body moves into the subtle, and subtle moves into causal. Causal is basically ignorance. And that when ignorance is dormant in deep sleep, it connects with the Brahman. Atman connects with the Brahman. So you have to make sure, the reason why your brain gets refreshed is like you're recharging your iPhone. So the energy, you basically get recharged and you can do it. Good.
So why do we wake up?
Oh, I think waking up is depending upon several reasons. One thing is, if your sleep is really complete, you're fresh and get up. You're 100% charged.
Fully charged.
If you are a cow like you and I have been for many years,
Sure.
because somebody disturbs you. So the causes for that vary depending upon the situation. But really speaking, if you're not going to be disturbed, you'll wake up when you're refreshed. Your body knows the best. Your brain knows the best. When it's recharged, you get up. As a matter of fact, to take you further, if you remain lazy and stay in bed, even after your sleep is complete, and halfway through you get up, you're miserable that day. You see what I mean? So the brain himself, the human being himself knows when you're completely charged. And at that time, you have to have a smile on the face and jump off the bed. So that's what it is. Okay? Any other question?
Following up on that question,
Sure.
like, how do you wake up? Like, what makes you wake up? So isn't it the Brahman, perhaps, who says, okay, your time is over, now wake up? Because if everything is Brahman, so you cannot give anything to the gross body or the central body or that. So isn't it? I was just thinking.
Obviously, you're asking good comment and good question. But you got to remember, why does the wind start blowing? The wind starts blowing and then the wave starts moving up. But where the wind comes from? I think my feeling is that when you're completely recharged, the causal body, the ignorance seems to come to awakening a little bit. The dormancy of that ignorance is no more. And when that dormancy goes away, the causal body comes into existence and creates confusion. That means wind starts blowing and the wave comes up. And the awareness thinks, the tiny little individual feels that I'm different than the entire ocean. Okay?
So as long as the ignorance remains, we keep doing the exact same thing over and over.
Exactly. But till the time you have a chance to communicate, ask questions, to and from discussions. Okay? Arun, we didn't ask any questions.
Well, if we follow up on the same question.
Waking up.
What, if you are in the meditation, then what makes you come out of it? Or, because then you are in really, really restful state. So how do you come out of it? Or if you don't use alarm, because that's a different thing,
No, I think you're asking a good question. When I discussed it, the 3-day seminar I took for meditation practice, one gentleman who asked about the states of meditation. And there are various phases of meditation beyond which you are advised not to go. Because once you go beyond that, there is a point of no return. And when that happens, the person come back. For example, those who know Maharashtra history of all the sages come from different professions, no separation whatsoever, no caste system. One of them was Jnaneshwar. And Jnaneshwar went into deep state of meditation. He was reading, by the way, the 9th chapter. Rajaguhya, Raja Yoga. And went into deep meditation and never came back. And that particular house was completely covered by forestry, like you have in the Angarwal. And the person who found it was, who was a recent other Maharashtrian saint. Give me the names of names. Ganesha Upanishad, he was against the caste system too.
Not Nisargadatta.
No.
Jyotiba Phule?
No, not before that. But basically he found it and brought the whole story to the sunlight. So that's the fascinating part. As a matter of fact, I wouldn't mention the name because the gentleman is still here in town, and he was follower of Ramakrishna mission. And he died, I think last year, yeah. And he, for the last 2 years of his life, he had been doing nothing but meditation on the banks of the river Narmada. And he would go every day to go and swim. And for the last few months he had stopped eating much, except he would go to the common eating place and eat when somebody brought it, otherwise he would not even go to collect the food. He was totally incognito with the people, Ramakrishna mission people, as well as his family. Only person who had communicated with him 6 months earlier was his brother, who was in twin cities. And parents also were not communicating, not because they didn't want to, but were not communicating. But within a day of his death, the parents were able to come there and take the body in charge. But what I was storing about in that contrast is, he had drowned in Narmada, and I had to support the family here to let them know that when you are in deep state of meditation, and if you are in the water, you don't know where you are. Your physical location identity is gone. GPS is no longer working. And at that time you get into the trouble in this particular fashion. So if you're interested, I'll bring my notes and I'll show you various phases of deep meditation. But the reason why I do not talk that becomes a tantric part of it, because there is a tendency for the people who get power to get caught in that excitement of that extra power, getting lost in the maze. So that's what the tantric meditation, the tantric part creates now. We should not get away from our major goal of recognizing that our purpose here is to rekindle our memory as to our true nature. So don't get lost in that particular thing. So that's why you need direction.